Africa. Welcome to Bitesize Democracy, a weekly show focusing on issues around democracy on the African continent. Our show gives you a snapshot of what's happening in Africa in fun, informative bite-sized segments. Please do like us on Twitter on @Afrique_Democratic, and please do follow us on Facebook on African Democratic Institute. My guest today is Mr. Moeletsi Mbeki. He's an author, political economist, and a businessman. Welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
Mr. Mbeki, you are an author, you're a political economist, you're a businessman. What are you most passionate about?
What am I most about? Being active. That really is my passion. I'm always doing something, and I'm passionate about doing something, mainly to do with my job as a journalist and as a political analyst, but also in business, in terms of building our country, South Africa, and hopefully our continent, Africa.
And then as a journalist, what were your thoughts on President Zuma's State of the Nation address for 2017?
I had a lot of difficulty staying awake. I thought I should have a tot of whiskey that might keep me awake. Really, Mr. Zuma is not what was never was a great freedom fighter for South Africa, but he doesn't have the skills to move the country in a different direction, because we are now at a different stage in terms of the country. We had our freedom struggle, and people like Zuma were heroes. To run the country afterwards, no, I don't think he understands where to begin.
Okay, you're one of the few black people, if I may say, who disagree with BEE. What about BEE in South Africa do you disagree with?
Well, BEE actually is a reparation system. It's not a creative system. It's the whites giving wealth to the blacks, or to the black politicians, actually, not to the blacks, to black politicians. And they are saying, oh, we're sorry about what we did to you. Now here's 10 million rands, please go and lie at the beach at Umhlanga Rock and have fun.
So you don't think BEE is effective?
No, it is not contributing anything to creating to creativity of the people who get the money. It's charity, really. BEE is a form of charity.
Okay, and then in your book, Architects of Poverty, you started the conversation on governance, ethics, and moral values in African governance processes. How has this conversation, in your opinion, encouraged, or has it resulted in anything tangible?
Well, first, the book has sold very well. So I think that is proof that South Africans at least first read books. Secondly, they are very interested in the issues that are raised in Architects of Poverty. I'm trying to remember now how many thousands of copies we sold, but we sold a huge number of copies. So I think the notion that young people don't read is definitely not true. A lot of the people who I talk to, who want to talk to me about the book, are young people.
Oh, that's very interesting. And then you've written another book, and are you engaging with policymakers and decision makers who can implement the solutions and challenges that you identified in your books?
Yes, I do. I do engage with policymakers. Yesterday, I'm not sure, I addressed a meeting of the Tshwane Mayors Economic Summit, where the leaders of the Tshwane municipalities, the councillors, and the experts who run the municipalities were all there. So we had a good discussion, and so I talk to business people, I talk to students, I talk to very rich people and not so rich people. So yes, many South Africans are very interested. And people outside South Africa, by the way. I was invited a couple of years by the Zambian government to go and talk to their people about architects of poverty, for example.
Okay. What is your stance, just to, veer off, what is your stance on opposition politics in Africa? Because I know you've also written a book that's kind of around that. What is your stance on?
Well, I have always been in opposition. First opposing apartheid in South Africa, and then opposing corruption in Africa. I lived in several African countries. I lived in Zimbabwe, I lived in Lesotho, I lived in Tanzania, I lived in Zambia, and I've worked in other countries, Ethiopia, Nigeria, as a business person. So the corruption in Africa, I have always been opposed to it. And so, yes, I'm one of the oppositionists. If you could ask how I would describe myself, I would describe myself as an oppositionist to corruption, oppositionist to inefficiency that is very common in Africa, poor service delivery by African governments for the people, yeah.
So I think I would safely say you are more an effective opposition party on your own than most of the opposition parties in Africa. Okay, can you tell us more about your book, your latest on A Manifesto for Social Change, How to Save South Africa?
Well, this book I wrote with my niece. This is my younger brother, my late younger brother's daughter. She teaches economics at the University of the Witwatersrand, so she's a highly qualified young lady. Well, the book essentially is pointing out that in South Africa, what is wrong with South Africa is that we have marginalized two very important groups in our society. We have 50% of our working age population, that is people 15 years and above who are not at school, are not working. So they are economically marginalized. And then we have the owners of capital who own banks and all those things. They are politically marginalized. So the message in our book is that you cannot succeed in your country if you marginalize half of your population economically, and if you marginalize politically the people who are productive and control the productive assets of your country. That is really our message.
Absolutely. And Africa, please do go and buy the book. It's called A Manifesto for Social Change, How to Save South Africa. And then my last question, who inspires you?
Who inspires me? Many people inspire me. One of my great people who inspired me was a Senegalese novelist and filmmaker. His name is Ousmane Sembène. He died a few years ago. He is in my book, one of the most brilliant Africans. Chinua Achebe, that's another one, who wrote the famous novel, set of novels, actually. Mandela is another inspiration. I think Mandela, he knew when to negotiate. That was his contribution. Then looking outside South Africa, well, there are many people in the world who one reads about, Ho Chi Minh from Vietnam is one of the people who was my inspiration.
Thank you so much for taking time to speak to us. Thank you, Africa, for watching. Goodbye.